fuck you, Dad. All right. Well, speaking of little people wrestling, the only thing better than that is this goddamn podcast. This Fuck You, Dad. We're here. Mark subbing in for Nick, and we got Brian Lirot in the bit. No. That's how you say your name?
Yeah, it is. Nice job, dude. You did it on accident.
I have no confidence in myself. I mean, he was like, that ain't it. I feel wrong.
For a person of color, you did a good job saying my French name, I will say.
Yeah, you don't see the French name often.
No, that T got lost at Ellis Island for a lot of people, I think. I think it's just OWs now.
Who was that guy that's like, someone would just say their last name, like, that ain't happening.
Yeah.
McDougal, idiot. Yeah, how about that?
I heard just the name Tony was just like something that they gave to people like Italians in Ellis Island, where it just meant to New York, to NY, and that's why so many Italians are just named Tony.
Like, right, you're going there, that's you now.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's just like a dumb Italian dinner table joke, but like, you know,
what is
the funnest job ever. I mean, can you imagine? you just get to wait. You don't even like. It's already fun, kind of skipping on your job responsibilities. You're like, I'm not going to file this properly.
Yeah,
you just sit there, feet up. You're smoking cigarettes. You don't know about cancer yet.
Yeah,
someone calls like, this is my family name. It's like, we're going to call you Smith, buddy.
Yeah, your name is now Derek.
You're just sitting there, just twiddling your thumbs. Just have fun in the tenement housing where you'll all be shitting in a bucket.
Yeah,
I would just feel you're on a boat for like 3 months, shitting in a bucket. And then when you get there, someone's like, "Yeah, who you are? That ain't a thing."
Yeah. Your name's now Tommy.
That's also gone. Yeah.
You know what? We could actually. I have a pen here and a blank sheet of paper. So I could write your name down exactly the way it's spelled.
Yeah, it's like really not anything.
But like, guess what? We got lunch in about 10, so I'm not about to be doing. So your name forever is something different.
Lunch is something that we do here. It's our second meal of the day, and we do that around the middle of the day.
See, you already have a fish skeleton in your pail, so you're good.
Yeah,
you go ahead and get out of here.
Fill
it's
up
this thing
on
called
that.
food. We have a lot of it here. You probably won't have much access to it in your first couple of years while you're still getting your feet. You know?
I heard a thing about my last name, which is that McPartland is apparently the same last name as McFarland. And there's something I have no idea. It's called like phonetic decay. And through some years of drunken Irish misremembering, the hard F gets turned into like a P somehow.
Yeah.
And so I have the only family that's too much of like alcoholic wet brain to remember what their name was.
They're like, it's some Mick.
It's dude, it's McFar. You know, just put it on the tab, Mick something. Someone's going to pay for it.
Dude, somebody's name is just Mick something.
From misspelling a name on a tab.
It's so many misspelled bars.
Because, I mean, that F turns into a P real easy.
It slurs. When you're writing in one big thing, it just becomes a P, and it's just, here's the $0 tip.
Yeah. I'm not spelling my name right because I'm not Tiffany either, baby. My name's Mark McSomething.
No bigger scumbag move than to having like a gigantic bar tab and just no.
Yeah.
No tip.
You know what the thing is? You know there's like where those Christian like really fundamentalist people will do where you'll have the fake $20 bill and it's just like, have you heard of that before?
You can turn it into 9/11 or something.
You can turn it into 9/11, which, by the way, if we start talking about that, these cameras will shut off.
Yeah. The lights will turn into red.
That's for the Patreon, which is recorded in a bunker at my dad's house, which is also my dad's house.
There's no internet for a reason.
These, it's like a $20 bill that like you put into like a billfold, like, you know, for the check. But then when you open it up, it's not a $20 bill. At the bottom of it says, "The Lord teaches us not to covet money. If you would like to learn more about
that is such a dick move."
That is such a dick move.
You're like, I make $3 an hour. You're talking to me about Jesus? Jesus was out here saving poor people.
Yeah.
Jesus wasn't like pretending, like going to wash someone's feet, and then it's like, you know what, you don't have dirty feet? Get in church, and then taking the thing away. Like, he was like actually tending to people.
He didn't turn the water into a life lesson. He turned it into wine.
He didn't just eat the bread and be like, fuck the 500.
He pours the water on the ground. He's like, so let me talk to you about something. Masturbating is a sin.
You should, you should get a bonus for that. Like if you collect a lot of them, if you have 10 of those,
you should be. The government should. If you deposit that into a bank, it should double your account as like an R bad credit that the government gives you.
I can't believe.
I'm not really into those R bad credits. Black people have been fighting over that one for years,
trying to get the R bad credit.
Oh, dude! If this country had to give out R bad credits, it'd be done.
Yeah,
it'd be the whole thing. All of the money would be gone. They'll be like, that was pretty tough.
Yeah.
The problem is with me, for my like upbringing and like ethnicity, I would get there and be like, well, I had to pay $1,000 our bad tax. Why am I getting taxed out of Germany? Just for years growing up white and having no struggle.
You're like, sir, this is a DUI court. This is just a fine.
Yeah.
You're just still drunk. What? I gotta pay? You're gonna some other kid you go to school. You know, someone has been drunk in the court, like just saying like just half remembered bullshit from Fox News in the middle of.
If I get a DUI, I think I will be a full-blown libertarian after that.
Oh yeah,
Like,
yeah.
If I spend $10,000 on just drinking and driving, I think I'm just like, at that point, Ron Paul, fucking let's go, baby.
Dude, I saw this ad from the 80s when they were trying to increase the laws on it, and it was like there was like a real like organized effort to oppose drunk driving laws, where they were just like, you know what, this is what this country was built on. And they were cracking beers in the car.
Heroes. I've seen that too.
Absolute heroes.
Absolute legends.
There was a time in American history where there wasn't a DUI. Like cars, like it's kind of like chicken and the egg thing.
I'm hear like the national anthem playing as you say that. You run for mayor.
And now those were a nice time called the 1950s.
I have seen that video too, where there's people like they interview people in cars about like, what do you think about the DUI laws? And there's a guy just like, they're going to try to make this illegal. You know, George Washington, when he crossed the Delaware, was drinking a cold one.
That's right, baby. That famous painting where he's on the front of the boat, he is hammered. Dude.
That's why one guy's like holding on to a flag. He's just like, fucking let me know when we get there, dude.
To be fair, I think it is impossible for white dudes to get on a boat and not be hammered.
I think
that's all they do.
I didn't even. That was spring break. They actually weren't going to war.
They were going to war. Like, what the fuck? It was just a bar fight that broke out on a river.
That wasn't George Washington's boat. That was George Washington Sr.'s boat.
My dad, fuck you. I'm going to take on my dad and all of his friends.
Yeah, who was
telling me what to do. I'll sell my tea wherever the fuck I want for whatever price.
The bars were definitely open later across the Delaware. That's why they were just fucking going over there. Just like they got 3 a.m. ones.
Yeah.
So you can actually
Let's go, boys.
Liquor laws aren't 21 and up over there. It's 18. So
the White Castle's still open.
The women are way hotter over there too.
I actually heard that the legal drink, there isn't like a, and I could get fact checked by putting this on the internet. There's not a legal drink. There's not a universal
this goes
legal.
on the internet?
This might be on the very same internet that fact checks
that
people
Google
like me.
resides on.
The Bing new AI might kill me, but that there's no like rule for national rule for the age limit of drinking. It's just that the government's like, if you don't make it 21, we won't give you highway funding. Yeah. So that's the way they kind of twist the arms. How about one free state out there be like, fuck it, we'll drive on the gravel, do it live, make it 18.
They used to be 18.
Wisconsin's close to that, though. Wisconsin got as close as you can to that because their roads are dog shit, and you can drink when you're 18 if your parents are around.
You could get up to 5 DUIs before they take your license away in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Really?
That's pretty bold.
5 is huge.
5 is like, because if you get arrested 5 times, that means you've driven drunk thousands of times.
Yeah. It's like there's a thing. It's like if you get 1 DUI, it's like 100, and I can testify that from my own personal experience. But like,
I've gotten 0, and I still have about 100. So even if you don't get caught,
they can do. Yeah, if you do 5, honestly, the 5th one, that's like, you know, where like you're trying to like, if you try to jerk off 5 times in one day, where the 5th one, you know, guys, we all know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
The fifth
I love how you're trying to say that like that's such a relatable. Well, you know, we all hate being alone with ourselves, right? You just try to you try to go for it.
Sometimes you're like, you know what, I'm going to make something out of my life and see if I can do 5 in a day.
The 5th, it's like your punch card for like a sandwich. It's like if you jerk off 5 times, the 6th time's not a sin.
I think God just is impressed. Then you just get into Guinness Book of World Records territory.
You get a free Chick-fil-A sandwich.
Yeah. A lot on lotion.
But yeah, you got to try for that 5th one. You got to really earn it. You got to be like, not today, honey. I gotta go hit the bars.
That's like when the cable was out as a kid. That's when you're going for 5. Where you're like, I got nothing going on, and I'm raging in puberty.
I'm about to close my eyes and imagine my teacher is molesting me for the next 12 hours. Yeah, I don't know. My dad's a huge. I guess if we're gonna get this on,
thank you.
Thanks for
welcome back to the Fuck You Dad podcast.
Me and Mark would be talking DUIs all day.
Yeah,
we'd be on a real tangent.
It is so funny. I think the last 3 podcasts I was on, we just talked about DUIs the entire time.
Honestly, me and Kenyon, when we're alone, normally have a podcast called "You Have to Tell Me If You're a Cop."
Yeah,
it's just talking speed traps with Mark and Kenyon.
Yeah. It's just the best. boys, I'll tell you.
This one brought to you by Chewing on Pennies. Chewing on Pennies. Get that taste right out of your mouth.
Yeah.
Chewing on. Welcome back to Chewing on Pennies. My name's Mark McSomething. Yeah, no, my dad's a huge drinking and driver, but he's from like a time where like
I don't. You're saying from a time.
Yeah.
I think it was always dangerous. It's not from a time where trees didn't exist.
Yeah, when the windows were glass, and if you got into a car accident, you just died immediately. If wither away in a hospital with a broken neck.
The cars are almost better now. Honestly, like the cars can drive yourself. Back in those days,
yeah,
if you hit a squirrel, you were flying through windows.
Yeah, dude, he just didn't wear a seatbelt, hit a bunny. No, but he told me one time that he's like, I guess he just probably read something on the internet, but he read that drinking and driving is just as bad as texting and driving. So he got in his head that if you see someone's texting and driving, then it's like you get mad at me for drinking and driving, and you're
he didn't take that like these are two reckless activities to kill people. He was like, well, if these kids can text and drive,
yeah, he's like these fucking hypocrites.
Hey, at least I'm not on I have a fucking flip phone.
Yeah,
can I at least enjoy a cold one on the road?
Yeah, dude.
Officer, if I'm not mistaken, you've got a computer in that car, so you don't need to be telling me nothing right now.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure I've seen him do both of those though at the exact same time.
Just texting, do you have blow?
Yeah,
just slamming a Bud
want
Light.
Taco Bell.
Yeah. That is absolute lunacy. Did he ever try to tell you about the dangers of drinking and driving?
No. I don't think my dad's tried to tell me the dangers of just booze in general.
He was just like, you go for it. So.
Yeah. Well, and I think he was he's more of like a earn your stripes kind of drinker, where before we were 21 he was like, you guys don't get to drink,
Mm-hmm.
He was pro weed. He didn't really give a shit about weed growing up, but he didn't like us drinking,
which is
it's which I see.
Normal sober 16-year-old brain is drunk.
It's annoying.
That is what that's what being drunk is.
I mean, a drunk 19, there is nothing more annoying than a drunk 19.
They're a danger to the whole planet and themselves.
That's why literally nobody goes to Lollapalooza except for 19-year-old. You can't go to that fucking music festival.
It's truly a nightmare. I did go there, but I was also incredibly drunk while I was I was trying to keep up with 19-year-olds, and I lost years of my life.
You go to Perry stage, and the next thing you know, you're fucking 28.
You go into the silent disco, and you come out, and you're just like, I have crow's feet. This is insane.
Yeah. I lost my train of thought. I
Did he talk about he earn your stripes?
Oh yeah, so but once I started drinking, it's just that guy fucking he can stay up until 3 a.m. drink.
Some adults do that.
Yeah,
they have this I got out drank by my grandma and several 50, 60-year-olds at her birthday, and I was like, what? I'm gonna be wrecked tomorrow.
Yeah, he'll do these things where we have he has a gazebo in his backyard, and we'll get fucked up out there, and it'll be 2 a.m, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go to bed. But he's been asleep, but he'll do that thing where he'll kind of drink in shifts, where he'll take a 10-minute nap and wake up and then drink his beer, and go back to sleep, It's just you're not really.
You're only regaining consciousness to be need more beer.
Yeah,
it's the last ember of brain cells. It's I just need a slight. Fuck, I had a thought. Ugh.
It's crazy, dude. Yeah. But then everybody will be like, all right, Dad, we're gonna go to bed, And we're like, you should probably go to bed now. And he's like, no, I'm all right. I'm gonna stay up. It's what do you?
Dad, you're asleep right now.
It's I'm gonna finish this.
I'm focusing.
You somehow ran out of American Pickers. There's no more American Pickers to watch. I don't even know what you're doing.
Yeah. He's a part investor because he's retired. So he's
I like you're trying to be he has nothing to do.
Yeah, he's
so
nothing to do. So he
grows.
grows weed, and he invests into a brewery that it's a part of an investment group. It's not a big amount of money. It was just
Your dad's just a bro.
No,
he
but
grows weed and then puts money into beer.
Yeah, and then he basically he asked them to help out. So then he is basically their assistant. He's a 60-year-old man, and it's all these cool fucking brewery guys, and he's just squeegeeing the floors for them, just what's up, Carson? Jefferson, how you guys doing? You know, I brought some chips if you guys want any.
I love those American traditional tattoos you got. Those
yeah.
Does he have, I imagine, like, I'm trying to think about my dad or any of my uncles, if they had any sort of part ownership in a brewery. First of all, rip. That would have ended him sooner. But secondly, like, does he have, like, a lot of merch or swag?
Lots of merch.
He's got to be, he's got to be keeping the product to sample on tap.
Sort of. So he doesn't really give a shit about the brewery, I will say. It's like, I don't think like he gives a shit about really anything. You know?
Okay, I think my dad's actually severely depressed.
Yeah, no, it's just like not. Yeah,
I mean, he's outside drinking, be like, I'll just stay here.
Yeah, I think
staring at a rope, trying to get the confidence together.
Yeah, I think if you buy into Reagan as hard as everybody did in the '80s, and then realize how bad of a fuck up that was on everybody's part.
Yeah.
Now it's sitting in 2023, and like your kids are just you basically fucked your kids up. Like we can't buy anything anymore.
Well, that machine was going before him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was always gonna happen. But
for sure. But
anytime a white older dude's like, well, you know, Reagan, I'm like, easily the worst out of all of them.
Yeah, could have been the worst.
Easily the worst.
And everybody, it's
because
not
people
even,
liked him.
Yeah, even the Democrats
hated Trump. People are like, oh, he's got a clean cut man. I'm like, he's like a Satanist.
Yeah, he did try to solve like inner city poverty and AIDS by a national prayer breakfast. That was like his only thing. Is like, we're just going to think about it before. My dad also had a little bit of that. When every time Reagan would come on the TV, he's like, times were better then. And it's like, well, that's also because, you know, you were like a functioning person and had a job back then. That had nothing to do with Reagan being in office. It's just,
is a good point.
Back, you work at a gym now, and back then you were selling stuff. Dad. It has nothing to do with like, you know, George W. Bush's policies.
I like markets coming out. It's like, 'cause back then you were a fucking dad. Maybe because I was just born and you gave half a shit.
You fucking work at a gym now. You fucking loser.
He's just trying to make an innocuous comment about like, man, Reagan was a good question. I'm just, you worked at a fucking gym.
How's minimum wage, pussy?
I wish we'd go back to the Clinton administration. Last time you came to a goddamn Taekwondo thing.
Yeah, he still doesn't go to your Taekwondo
I'm
matches. You're 30 now.
I'm still one of those belts they don't even give you. Where I'm breaking a board they have to snap with their hands.
Just go to like fucking beer league basketball games and look into the stands and still don't see your dad. You're like, damn.
I'm on the bench. I'm just clearly there filling the Gatorade.
Your dad's the coach of your beer league team and you still don't play.
I just don't think you're ready, son.
Speaking of that, did you ever growing up, did you get into those with your pops ever get you into some sports? Like
no,
that?
my dad kind of was like a bit like a pussy when it came to sports. Like I think he's like a cool guy, but no, he like would never come to games. And then if he did, like I'm nowhere close to an athlete, you know. Yeah. So like he would come to like football games back in the day. Yeah.
No way.
And I'm a fifth string wide receiver. It's all about depth, you know. I was more of a gadget piece. And by that, So, you know, there was one time I do remember the only football game he came to when I was a freshman, and that was the only year of football I played in high school. He came to this game, and it was particularly wet that day, and I got in at the end of the game because we were winning by a lot. So I was like, fuck, I get to play in front of my dad, which I feel like when you're 14, that means something, but when you're old, when you get an adult, you're like, wow, that must have been embarrassing for my, like, I think if I was like an adult and I came to my kid's game, and like they would only play them if they're up by like 50 points. I would be even more embarrassed if they just sat him on the bench the entire time, you know? Like,
100%. Because then it's just like, then everyone knows. I would rather he not even be playing.
Yeah,
He'd be
just
something
go
that's like, he plays some sport that they don't even have.
He's injured.
He's injured.
His grades aren't good.
He's got a hammy. He's redshirted. Just give him all sorts of stuff.
No, so I get in, and I was a wide receiver, you know, like I said. And I go line up, and I don't know the playbook. And everybody yells at me, Brian, other side. And then I go to sprint to the other side, and then the quarterback looks and goes, oh, wait, no, go back over there. And then I stop, and it was wet, and I just fall, like my feet come out from underneath me, and I just fall flat on my ass. And everybody, like the entire stands are laughing, the opposing teams laughing at me.
Sounds like a good bit, though.
My team
sounds like a close.
I just went Buster Keaton in my high school football game. Yeah, boink.
Confetti's just coming out.
Yeah. There's just a title card that says his dad thinks he's a fucking pussy.
It might as well have been that a pie also fell on your face. I mean, that was a
That's
Charlie
comical,
Brown moment.
Yeah, that wasn't the play.
That wasn't. That's how they drew it up.
That wasn't the play.
This one's called Brian Will Never Get Laid in high school.
we're gonna put a good defense. All the girls are gonna defend against him. Having sex. It's gonna be.
But
perfect.
I did think that was like I don't think it made my dad proud, but he got to be like, that was fun, like at least I enjoyed myself at the game.
Yeah, you did something that was enjoyable.
For the whole time, he just watched 14-year-olds attempt to play football, and then at the end, he got to watch his son embarrass himself in front of 100 people.
He's like, look at that dumbass.
Yeah.
That's a good time.
Take him out for ice cream after this.
I didn't have to deal with any of that because my dad was super anarchist, anti-competition. He had a book from Alfred Coe that's like how we all lose in the race to win.
Nice. Okay. Cool.
He actually got mad at Noam Chomsky when he met him. He pulled me out of school to go to a Noam Chomsky lecture.
Oh, he brought you with him.
He took me out of third grade. He checked me out. He's like, fuck this. I'm going to stop you from indoctrination and go. Let's go see the gnome, dude.
Yeah, dude. Go chomp it up.
Like some gnome groupies, dude. Some people started asking about 9/11 in the audience, and I was like, "Whoa, no, dude!"
You're just at like the Schoolhouse Rock level. It's like I'm just a bill. That bill doesn't do shit.
Learn. That bill's to manufacture consent. You fucking sheep.
Sitting there on Capitol Hill. Yeah, who the fuck doesn't? You lazy sons of bitches.
And then Noam's this old guy, he gives a talk or whatever, and then afterwards, my dad goes, and this was like the only person I think my dad even remotely respects, and he goes up to him and he's just like, "Oh, son, you really endorsed this competition book, but then I heard you later saying that you don't think a game of tennis is bad." And he's like, "Yeah, I don't. I think friendly competition between people isn't that big of a deal." And then my dad's like, "So you're a liar." I'm just standing there, and then No Chomsky's like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, you're a liar. You're lying."
Yeah. Does your dad believe in like those games that you just kind of play against, like solitaire?
Yeah, he's big. Because my dad has literally lost everything his whole life. He's like, I can't do anything that involves winning.
Yeah.
Then I'll lose.
Yeah.
So he knows the only game he can play is like he tries to buy like competitive board game, like non-competitive board games. You work together,
cooperate.
Yeah, like it's like Soviet Union puzzles or some shit.
They call puzzles board games.
Yeah.
Just cooperative board games. These are called puzzles.
Yeah, it's just the only cooperative board game. But any sort of thing.
You don't play online Call of Duty. It's just co-op story mode with your dad.
He's like the biggest hypocrite. You'd get mad at my brother for playing like violent video games. Like, you're out there killing people, and then like break down a door in rage. Like, you can't watch violence like that. Watch this. I'll show you how it's done.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to channel this. Some way I know how.
He's on like a 3 coffee table kill streak of just slamming his fist into it and breaking.
I'm playing Call of Duty, or I'm going to go dump on my math class. With your gun.
Yeah. Pretty much. Yeah. Your dad was a big sports guy, right, Mark?
Oh yeah, he liked ECU because that was a school he went to, which that I learned later on had all to do with the fact of that was just a place that he got unlimited pussy and stuff, and that he wasn't really into the sports program.
Wait, ECU?
East Carolina University.
Got it.
Famously known as kind of the frat boy.
They were the frattest, and he was the head of the fraternity there. So he was like, at the time, I was like, that's weird that he's so into this football team because they play like garbage schools in the mud. And I think a lot of his like fond memories of that were like, yeah, I remember tearing down that stadium multiple times in a drunken rage. So he liked ECU. And then he liked the Carolina Panthers.
Oh.
And we went to a Panthers game one time. And this is where we went to the Panthers game one time, and we drove all the way down to Charlotte because we're in Raleigh. It's a 2.5-hour drive. He's seeing the Panthers. He's excited. He's brought little Mark along.
Yeah.
And then me and my brother, and we get there, and we get to the stands, and we're in there, and the weather is like 30 degrees. We were like 6 or 7 or something like that.
Yeah.
We're like, we're cold. And he's just like got mittens on. He's like stuff his ears. He's like, I'm going to ignore this. We're watching the Panthers. And I was like, Dad, I'm cold. And he's like, we'll leave. And then he didn't talk to me for 18 years.
Yeah.
He just
Kenny, that's a normal field trip with your dad. Usually you just go to the game and he ignores you.
Yeah.
You don't go to Chomsky event.
My dad was pretty
about
hands-on.
9/11.
He tried to really take me in on his hobbies. I went to
yeah.
like some book readings at an anarchist bookshop,
Yeah.
and even in 5th grade, I was like, "You guys are," I agree with some of the points, but I'm like, everyone in here is a loser, though.
Yeah.
Because it would just
Yeah.
be like just some chick in college who like doesn't shower, and then she would just be like, "Well, the problem is just most Americans are stupid. They want to eat French fries." I'm like, "Have you ever had a job?
Or
have
a
you
French
ever?
fry.
Have you ever?
They're delicious.
Would you have this opinion if your parents weren't paying for your school right now?
Right,
You
yeah.
know, I just the problem when you're like, oh, everyone else is stupid and I have it all figured out.
Yeah, I mean,
that always annoys me.
I was the biggest socialist of my entire life when I was getting $800 a week from the government during the pandemic. I was like, let's fucking go.
Oh, I mean, I'm still the biggest socialist, but I just get annoyed by like people that you got to arrive at that point through some pain and suffering.
Yeah.
You can't be like, oh, actually, I'm like, system's working great for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm huge. I mean, my last the year 2022 was the Brian Lirot year of food stamps. So I was hitting that EBT game all year.
Hell
It was fucking awesome, dude. EBT is the.
I got EBT basically.
I felt sponsored.
Sued me.
Really?
Oh, snap.
They took. Well, it's more of a sad story, but they accidentally.
You don't
paid
say.
Me and my.
This food stamp story where they tried to get it back from you.
Believe it or not, it's not a real like knee slapper. It's not an uplifting tale about the American system.
That is the worst part about socialism. If you don't get the benefits, then you just end up starving to death. It's really dependent on if this works. So.
But yeah, they accidentally paid me and my mom like an extra $50 for I guess like a year or two, and then they're like, "Now you owe us like $1,000."
Yeah,
and I was like, "This is your fault. I never asked for that money."
Yeah.
And then they were like, "Yeah, well, fuck you."
Mm-hmm.
What do they even think that you're going to be able to like? You're going to like vomit up all the food and give it back to them?
Yeah.
What is this
We just
program?
had to pay them money, straight up cash.
Yeah, which was not what the EBT money was in the first place.
Yeah.
So
It's like this turned into macaroni. Dude.
Yeah, this is
was
fake money that you made and put on a card too. Like,
Yeah.
That's absolutely like some Godfather shit. Just like, we
Yeah.
looked at it, and you're actually going to have to come work for us in the sanitation biz for a bit. They twisted your arm a little bit.
Oh, 100%. Tried to appeal it and lost.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
I was like, well, this is, what's the point here?
that
Yeah.
$50 a month was an offer you guys could not refuse at the time.
Well, quite literally, no. Yeah. That is what EBT is.
really
It's
needed
an offer
that.
You're like, this is it.
Yeah.
It's this or die.
Yeah, I know. dude.
You come to me on the day of my daughter's birthday and ask for just a bag of rice? How dare you?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Have you heard about this? Is the crazy thing is that the government just wasted $60 billion trying to make a class of battleship called a littoral battleship.
Wait, what?
And
I love Mark with the facts.
Yeah,
dude.
Mark coming in.
Also, boat facts are sick. Dude.
Boat facts are what I love. They built these ships trying to see if they could they were supposed to be ships that scraped the coast. They made 33 of them. Turns out they don't work. They catch on fire when you turn them on. So they took one to Cuba, caught on fire. They had to tow it back, and they had to decommission the whole class of battleship. $60 billion, and that's just fine. This is the first you're ever hearing about it, but goddamn if you don't send back that $50 from food stamps.
Yeah,
It's
that's what it is. That's you pay so much in taxes, and then time that it's literally like the mob, because it's like you're like, hey, can I just get some help? I can't afford healthcare. I can't do that.
Of course,
They're
we
like,
love you.
Yeah, they're like, no, they're like, absolutely not.
Absolutely.
Yeah, what are you, pussy?
We're going to spend all this money trying to build a drone that accidentally explodes the second that you try to turn on with a touchless key. But we can't.
And did you hear they passed it was like I don't know the exact amount, but it was at least a few million in the fund for people who suffer from Hanover syndrome, which is like this bullshit thing where they say that CIA agents, when they go to Cuba, they get like really bad headaches or something, and they're like, Cuba is using this secret weapon to like make people nauseous and have headaches. It might just be your conscience finally kicking up. It might just be your thoughts and actions.
You're a pencil pusher in a bureaucratic office for a country we have bad relationships with. Like, my head hurts. Yeah, all of our heads hurt. They don't have a secret microwave gun that they're just sitting there to wait.
They've somehow made in the middle of this insane trade embargo.
Cuba.
It's called depression.
Yeah.
We all have headaches, okay?
Yeah.
It's the middle of winter, buddy.
Yeah. But I know that they were trying to, I remember, because people got upset because they just came out with a report where they were like, we don't think Havana syndrome's real. And it's like, well, how come sometimes I feel sad on Mondays? And it's like, well, that's just because your thing is.
Yeah. Max Shanker, his girlfriend was Cuban, or ex-girlfriend, and then she broke up with him.
Okay.
He's got Havana syndrome.
I call that Havana syndrome. He's sad for a few months after that. Sorry, buddy, got a case of the Havana syndrome.
That's some bad Havana syndrome. He's got some ringing in my ears.
Cuban girlfriend cheated on me, and I'm really sad about it.
Symptoms include listening to a lot of like My Chemical Romance sadly in a room.
Do you listen to My Chemical Romance when you're sad, Mark?
I got that one song, Welcome to the Black Parade.
Oh, Black Parade.
Black Parade. You can't be mad at that song. This is the Fuck You Dad podcast.
No,
that's a story about his dad bringing him to a parade.
Where do you think?
Black Parade.
Where do you think it was after the Panthers game, dude? That was the Black Parade, dude. That thing.
I was about to say, dude, you say that.
When I was a young boy, my father brought me to a Panthers game to hope I'd watch the game, dude.
I really want you to write this song. Young boy, my father
to a Carolina Panthers game
to the city
to watch
see them get their asses home. It's just.
Yeah. He said, one day we'll leave you
Julius
in
Peppers.
One day I'll leave you. Probably pretty soon.
Sooner than you're expecting.
Sooner than you're expecting. To see another family.
Sometimes I get this feeling he's got a family in Raleigh.
Yeah. He's watching over me because he lives on an overpass. He's an overpass kind of guy.
All right, I love that bit.
Good.
Bad Dad Black Parade bit.
Bad Dad Black Parade. That's what we're all about here. We did it. Whimsical bad dad bits. That's what, guys. I think that was a good note to end on.
That might be in on the Black Parade.
I think end of Black Parade. Well, you got anything you want to plug, Brian?
I also have a podcast called the Leg Day Podcast.
Check out Leg Day.
Bill and Pat Bulldog.
Also been on
Bill
the podcast.
Gavertz.
Hilarious guy. Yeah.
Married.
Fuck yeah. Well, check out our Patreon so that we could get a little bit sweet more cash. Go to the Lincoln Lodge every goddamn day of the week to see quality comedy, and you can check out Mark McPartland there as well.
Mm-hmm. Also, check me out next episode. That's a little spoiler.
Yeah, Mark's tuning in next week. So,
Tune in.
So more hot riffs. Thanks
To be
for listening.
continued.
Thanks for having me, fellas.
No problem.
Hey guys, you just listened to another episode of Fuck You Dad. If you could follow us on our Instagram, which is FCKYOUDAD podcast. That's the important one. We also have a Twitter account, which is FCKYOUDADPODCA1. If you could follow that. Also, please submit any father stories that you have that you'd like us to make fun of, laugh at, or share. Shoot that to our Instagram DMs. And if you could please go ahead and rate the podcast, share the podcast with your friends and family that might enjoy it. And keep listening. Thank you so much.